Welcome everybody to the Heroes of the Storm Medivh Hero Spotlight. Now in the first half of the video we're going to talk about all of his new abilities and talents. In the second half of the video we're then going to take a look at how Medivh plays out in an actual game. As you can see, Blizzard labeled him a ranged specialist with very strong utility and protection capabilities. He only has one damaging ability, which is his Q called Arcane Rift, whereas every other ability is there to boost your allies' combat performance or to hinder the enemies. Medivh is known to be a superior magic user, and that is being reflected in his ability kit. His model has been taken from Warcraft 3 and has been adjusted slightly with a newer engine. His iconic animal form, which is the Raven, is being displayed on his staff and his passive. So without further ado, let's get started and take a closer look at each of Medivh's basic abilities. His passive is called Raven Form, and it transforms Medivh into a raven, becoming completely immune and bypassing terrain. It is also worth mentioning that enemies cannot attack Medivh while he is in his Raven form, which makes him an ideal scout. Next in line is Medivh's only damaging ability called Arcane Rift. It launches an arcane bolt that damages and pierces enemies in a line. As you can see, Arcane Rift has an extremely low cooldown, but only if you manage to successfully hit enemy heroes. Once you miss an enemy hero, the ability goes on a 7-second cooldown. This ability felt very powerful when I actually played Medivh. And even if you're not hitting enemy heroes with it, it is still a great tool to clear minion waves or mercenary camps. Medivh's most discussed ability was his W, called Force of Will. It briefly protects an allied hero from all damage. Keep in mind, however, that Force of Will does not protect the shielded ally from crowd control effects, so they still can get stunned, slowed, rooted, or silenced. Medivh's E ability is called Portal, and it creates a link between nearby locations that allies can pass through. Portal can be used both offensively and defensively. It allows allies to escape or engage on the enemy team. Let's talk about Medivh's first heroic ability called Polybomb. Polybomb causes your target to become a flying sheep, spreading the polymorph after 3 seconds to a near target. Keep in mind that Polybomb has an infinite duration, so the only way to cancel the effect is to run away from your allies and not spread it to them. Medivh's second heroic ability seems equally powerful. It's called Leyline Seal, and it releases a line of magic that disables enemy heroes. Similar to Zerathul's Void Prism, it puts them into stasis, making them invulnerable, unable to use abilities and attacks. Alright, that's it for abilities. Let's now move on to the second half of the video and show you some actual Medivh footage. As a disclaimer, I have to say that the map was Haunted Mines, and unfortunately this map seems to be a little bit buggy with Medivh. So unlike other maps, Medivh couldn't really use his Raven form to pass obstacles and terrain. Plus, whenever Medivh entered the mines, he could get attacked by ranged heroes, so this is something that Blizzard has not intended, and I just want to mention it just in case you see something weird going on this map. Alright, in the beginning of the game we have a couple of level 1 talents at our disposal. Raven's Intellect actually causes Medivh to have more mana regeneration while in Raven form, and Mana Adept increases the mana refund for hitting heroes with your Q. Portal Mastery allows you to place both portal exits, otherwise you would have just been able to actually control the second one, whereas the first one would have always been at Medivh's current location. I was told that a Q-related build is quite powerful, so I decided to go with Mana Adept. Okay, once again, we're going to transform into our Raven. It's worth mentioning that while in Raven form, you cannot be attacked by the enemy team, and you can normally fly over obstacles, walls, structures, etc. However, as I mentioned on Haunted Mines, that feature seems to be a little bit bugged. I'm not really sure what the Rainer was doing. Maybe he suffered from some lags, or it was basically his first time playing Heroes of the Storm. That's at least what it looked like. Tracer doing a little bit of a misplay here, using her recall too early, making her an easy kill. So 2 kills for my team seems good. Once again, we're using our Raven form to scout ahead, and this is a really good example of how the enemy structures and heroes are not able to do anything while we're scouting them from a bird's eye view. Okay, we're entering the mines for the first round. Oh, and the enemy Muradin actually stepped into the sand trap from our Chromie. And now we're having a little bit of a skirmish at the mine entrance. Now you can see that the enemy Chromie put us into her stasis trap as well. The only time you can see the enemy Chromie's trap is when she's planting it. Once it's activated, it remains invisible. At level 4, I decided to go for Mage Armor, which provides everybody who uses the portal teleports with block. You can pause the video to get an overview over the other talents. By the way, if you have a certain opinion on various talents or you want to share your own talent build, please feel free to do so in the comment section down below. I'm really interested in seeing what you guys think are like really good talents for Medivh, because I think he has a couple of really viable ones. Now we're flying around in the mines, clearing another zombie camp here, and you can really see how my Q deals a lot of damage. I'm basically just toying around with the portals here, because it was my first game as Medivh. Now, normally I would have been able to fly over the walls here, but since it is the haunted mines, it's still a little bit buggy. It was actually confirmed by a Blizzard employee that they haven't actually looked at the haunted mines because it's not in the current map pool after all. So, there we go. There we go. You can see Tracer being able to attack us. That should also not be possible. And we actually confirmed it on other maps, right? So, on other maps, Medivh works flawlessly in that regard. So, it was literally just bad luck for me here that on haunted mines there seemed to be some issues going on. Alright, both teams are dancing around the big golem here. Nice heroic ability by our Tracer. Now we're using our Force of Will to protect ourselves, but it wasn't enough. Murden being very persistent here and following us all the way, but it didn't really end so well for the rest of his team, and also the Murden had to fall here, so it was a 3-for-1 trade. I couldn't be happier with that. Now we see the enemy Medivh flying over us. It's a really nice example of seeing what it looks like to play against an enemy Medivh and having an enemy bird flying on top of you, so to speak. Oh, Medivh actually sneaking in from behind, killing Thrall in the back, but he won't be able to get Tracer after all. Now we see that the enemy Medivh is trying to run away from Chromie, but thanks to her superior range, boom, there we go. We saw a dragon's breath finishing Medivh off. Well done. I think in this game, Chromie was being controlled by Chris, Liquid Chris. So he was really fond of her. He said that he always loved playing ranged characters that have like a lot of sieging spells, a lot of great range. So Chromie is like the perfect match for him. Talking about Chromie being really good and Chris liking her, he just got a double kill, and we're now gonna mercilessly try to hunt down the Murden once more. Tracer's heroic ability is there, and Chromie and the rest of our team are there to finish them off. You could actually see that Chris walked into one of our portals by mistake. So that was a good laugh. It really tells you that sometimes you should be very careful with how you place your portals. So it was also a little bit of a mistake on my part, because now we're zooming in just to give you a nice look on how Medivh looks and what his animations look like. I think he is a really nice adaptation from the Warcraft 3 Medivh. Very stylish character, and his skins in particular, the Master Skin and the Owl Medivh, they look just as awesome. I'm demonstrating you in a close-up how the portals work. You can go back and forth until the duration has expired. Now we're helping Falstad. The enemy Medivh is shielding himself, but it was not enough. Something that Medivh really lacks is mobility. He doesn't have any speed buffs, he doesn't have any teleports or blinks, whatever. Now we see Tracer escaping the slowing sands from our Chromie. We're destroying another tower, and whoa, Breath of Dragon coming in. You can really see the superior range coming in from Chromie, and Tracer barely escaped. We're using a portal, by the way, to escape here as well. Very nice display. Now, we have a couple of very interesting talent choices at level 16. They're all shield related, and we found a Circle of Protection to be extremely powerful. Unfortunately, I wasn't aware of that just yet when I played my first game. I think I went for reabsorption, but Circle of Protection basically causes Force of Will to shield nearby allies as well, making them invulnerable, and this is extremely strong. Basically, you have to say that all 16 talents are pretty damn powerful, causing Force of Will to last a little bit longer, and reabsorption causing Force of Will to also heal the target for 60%. Excuse me, for 50% of the damage absorbed. For now, let's jump to another engagement in the mines. Actually coming down here, protecting our Chromie a little bit more. She manages to escape barely, but it doesn't really look too good for us here. We're running away from the Murden. Falstad coming in as reinforcements, and we reign supreme in this team fight. Now we're using our portals to escape Murden. Unfortunately, he's fast enough. I'm also not really determined enough to go into my bird form And he finishes off once more. Now it's all to Chromie, using her stasis trap to get away. Is it going to be enough? I think so. Gnomes apparently are very fast. And she's using her combo and anticipated the chasing Medivh and finishes off Medivh in a WQ combo. Really, really well done by Chris here. You can really see that this hero seems to be in his blood. Another engagement. We're focusing down 2 heroes, I think. No, Burden is getting away. Alright. At level 20, we have a couple of very interesting Storm tier talents. And once again, I recommend pausing the video right now and taking a look at all the single individual talents. I decided to go for Arcane Brilliance, which actually gives me an activatable talent causing all nearby allies to gain a little bit of mana and to gain a little bit of ability power. I think it was 10% ability power and 200 mana, which is extremely powerful to keep pushes going and enhance your allies' combat performance overall. Really, really good. You can also see that I'm hovering over invisibility right now. We see Medivh cheats. Very, very powerful talents in my opinion, and it really turns out that if you are a very good Medivh player, you can single-handedly dominate teamfights just by using your skills and talents accordingly. And we're doing a little bit of a time jump here. We're approaching the end of the game, as you can see. Only the core left for the enemy team, and we have catapults on them. Now we see a polybomb here on our tracer, but luckily no other allies were nearby, so it basically just went poof. Right, and there we go, guys. That is the end of the game. Catapults are finishing it. I hope you enjoyed this first sneak preview of Medivh in-game. Sorry for the bugs here in Haunted Mines. But yeah, drop a like and a subscription if you want to, and make sure to share this video with your friends if you enjoyed it. And it would be my honor and pleasure to welcome you back in the next one. Thank you very much for watching, guys.